Hi there. This is a beginner's tutorial on the soccer ball module that Houdini puts up on their website. Now, I just want to clarify that I'm not in any way affiliated with Houdini or SideFx or any of those companies. I am just an independent student. I'm trying to learn 3D modeling. This is the first time I've done it, so I'm a complete beginner myself. You'll be learning alongside with me. And so I'm just putting this as a resource out there because I was trying to do the soccer ball project, and there were some parts where I got a little stuck in the PDF that they provide on the website just wasn't substantial enough to help me. Like, some features had changed from previous launches of Houdini. And so I decided to just make this a video resource that people could look on in the future and just see where some differences might be and where they might be lost, and just something to give people a boost. So again, I'm not affiliated with Houdini. I'm not a professional modeler or anything. Again, I'm a beginner. This is just something I'm doing for fun in my free time because I like to pick up some extra skills. So if you don't, let's start at the very beginning. So if you don't have Houdini, you're going to need to download it. Just Google Houdini modeling software. Just Google it. It'll bring you to their website, and you can download their launcher. Their launcher is going to look a lot like this thing right here that you see on the screen. And you'll just press the install button. It'll install automatically for you. The version of Houdini I'm using is Houdini Apprentice, which is a free version of the software where the license will renew every 30 days. Again, I'm a student at college, so this is the version I'm using. I'm pretty sure that this Apprentice version is available to individuals regardless of having a school email or not, but I'll double check and clarify in the description on that. So this is going to be part one. So let's just launch Houdini and start from there. Alright, and so when Houdini starts up, they're going to bring us this little window saying start here, and that's exactly what we're planning to do. So we're going to click on getting started. That's going to open up this window right here, which is all about learning Houdini, and then we have our foundations. So the first part of foundations is the overview, and this is a PDF that goes in depth regarding the tools and layouts you'll find in Houdini. So the viewports, the different toolbars, different things you can pull off in Houdini. It's a pretty large document, so I'm not going to get into that. But if you want to go look for yourself, it's right here on the website for you to download for yourself. All right, and so we're going to be going off this PDF right here, which is the first project we're going to be working on. And so I already have the PDF downloaded, but we're going to work on this part. So we're going to start right here. Well, actually, we're not going to start right here. We already know how to use our view tools. But we're going to do everything on this menu up until by dynamics. So we'll try and get into some motion effects stuff. We'll definitely be using materials and textures along with UVs. We'll definitely get there. Layout and motion effects. These two might be a little bit harder because, again, I'm learning this for the first time as well. So I'll try and, work out all the bumps and then edit it down if I do get that far. But we'll definitely get through everything up to UVs for sure. And so I already have this PDF open on another screen. And since we're going to be working off it, there's no need to have this here anymore. And so we're going to go follow that PDF. And this video is going to be focused on part one, exploring the Houdini UI. And so really it's just going to have us go through step one, which is creating geometry. So we're going to press C, focus on the window, press C, and we're going to go to create, click on that, and then we're going to say geometry, and then we're going to go to box, and then we're going to press enter to place that box at the origin of the plane. So that's at 0, 0, 0, 0, X, Y, and Z coordinates. And so now we have that in the origin, so we're going to go to step two. So step two is having us play around with a couple things. So spacebar gives us the ability to tumble. Spacebar and left click gives us the ability to tumble, so viewing our cube from all angles. Panning is going to be spacebar plus your middle mouse button, so your scrolling button. So it allows us to pan left, right, up, down, and in the diagonals as well. And then, of course, we're going to have our right mouse button with the spacebar, and that's going to be... That's going to be a dolly, so that's going to bring us in and out of our object. And then there are a couple home options as well. So if we want to go back to home to view our cube from where the editor originally had it placed, spacebar plus H brings us home. If we want to bring everything home, home all is spacebar plus A. That's just going to give us the same view we had again. So let me show you. If I just drag over here, if I just tumble a little bit and then do spacebar plus A, that's going to reset us to our home. So, and then we have spacebar and G, which is home selected. So I believe that's the selected object you have. You can see in our network view which objects we're working with. So spacebar G is just going to bring us back to this cube. So really all the home buttons for now are going to bring us back to this view. So we're just going to stick with H right now because that's the one we're going to use most often. And so now we're going to select our object within the network and we're going to press I to go to the geometry level. Now, if you press up, you'll be brought out to the entire network view, all of this. And you can also double click on that node to go down to the geometry level. So up to get back to network view, and then I or double click to get down to geometry. So up and I, up and I. So now we're at the geometry level and we're gonna wanna change some things, right? So we're gonna use the we're gonna use the shift key to drag on handles, and we're gonna make these handles longer along the Z axis. So you might be wondering, which axis is the Z axis? Well, you can see right here, down in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the axes labeled for us. We have an X-axis, a Y-axis, and a Z-axis. And so we can see the Z-axis is that axis in this direction. So we're gonna hold the shift button, we're gonna click on this arrow, and we're just gonna elongate our box in the Z-axis, all right? And so now we're done with step 3. So let's move on to step 4, where we're going to add a little bit more shape into our ball. So here we're going to press within our editor, not within our network view. Within our editor, we're going to press S. So this auto picks the select tool for us. And then we're going to press 4 to access primitive selection. Primitive selection allows us to pick different faces at once. We press N to pick all the faces. So as you can see, all our faces are highlighted yellow. And then we're going to press C to bring up the radial menu and extrude. So we're going to go C, model, and then we're going to go to polygons and poly extrude. And so now that brings up our poly extrude options menu up here. And so in our operation control bar or in the parameters pane, so operations control bar is up here and our parameters pane is this on the right. So I tend to work the parameters pane here on the right. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to set our divide into parameter right here. We're going to set this into individual elements. And then we're going to use the handle to set our distance around 0.4. So you could use this handle to set the distance to whatever distance you want, but I tend to like to go with solid numbers. I only go with, I only use the handle if I'm ever trying to estimate something, which again, I'm a beginner, I'm not estimating anything. So I tend to stick with, hard coding numbers into these values. And so now in our network view, we can see that we've added a poly extrusion. And so that node is added to the box. So remember, Houdini is a program that sequentially goes through the nodes and adds what needs to be added. So if you have something going from top to bottom, it's going to take each attribute from the top of the tree, and as it goes down the tree to the very bottom, it'll keep on aggregating attributes until you have your final product. And so here at the very top, we have our box. And actually, if we set our display flag, if I right-click on our box and set the flag of display to true, then we'll just see the box. A quick way to do that is Houdini has these quick settings within each node, each setting regarding to a different trait. And this one on the far right is usually the display tab. And so I can turn that on or off whether I'd like to. So right now it's on, we only see the box, but I would like to see the extrusion that I just made. It's added as a node on our network, so I'll just click on the display tab, and now our poly extrusion's here. Now, hey, it's kind of close what we're looking at, right? It's a little bit too close for comfort. I'd like to re-angle the camera to something better, so I'll just press spacebar H, and now we're back at the home view, and we can look at our project from every angle at a comfortable distance. So let's move on to step 5. And so now we're going to use the select all tool, so N, and select all of our new faces. And now we're going to press tab and look for subdivide. So we're going to add a subdivision node to our list or to our network. So we'll press enter once we have that node. And now we can see the subdivision node has been added to our tree. And since it's the latest addition, it now has the aggregates of everything that came before it. So if we view the box now, we have our box, and then we set the display to poly extrude. We see that poly extrusion, and then if we set our display to the subdivision, we can see now that we have the subdivision. So it takes every single trait from its ancestor, from its parent essentially, and comes with the combined effects of all of them. I'm sorry, I didn't know how to say that in a better way, but you know what I mean. So let's press spacebar H in the editor to get back to a comfortable view. And so now we have this subdivision. According to step 5, we're going to want to set the depth to 2. This is going to subdivide the geometry to create more polygons. Now, Houdini also has a subdivision display option at the object level where you can use it to see subdivisions without actually adding any geometry. But in this case, we do want to create more polygons. So that's actually, I just ripped all of that straight off from the Houdini PDF itself. A lot of words, so let's go by this slowly. Let's start with the first sentence. Houdini also has a subdivision display option at the object level. So right now, I believe we are in the geometry level when we go here. So this is the geometry level, so up here is the object level. And so we can subdivide here, but if we want more polygons, we can subdivide here on the geometry level, which is what we're doing. And so now we're going to set that depth to 2. As I told you, I like to hard code these values, press enter, boom. So now there's more polygons. So now is step 6, where they usually have us play around with some of the nodes in the chain. So you can see here if I change some of these flags. So if you go to a node and go to the flags, you can see different flags are checked and unchecked. So for example, if I was going to go to the extrude node and I said, hey, I want to know what this looks like with all these attributes except the extrusion, then I can set its bypass to true. And now this tree will bypass that node and it'll act like that extrusion never happened. So now it's only the box in the subdivision. And so that flag is set to true. We're going to set it false so it shows back up. And so this is when we play with bypass, template, and display flags, but in the efforts of time, we're just going to skip that. So right now we're going to set our project because of course we want to save it. And we want to put it in the correct directory. So we're going to say File, and then we're going to say Set Project. So Set Project is right here. Now we're going to go to the intro lesson directory. And now I have this all saved on my, I have a specific drive for Houdini. So we have the intro lesson directory, and then we're going to press Accept. Okay. And so now all the folders and subfolders are associated with this project. Now we're going to go to File, Save As. And then I already have a soccer ball project, so this is going to be soccer ball 2. So we're going to name this soccer ball 2.hip. Okay. Soccer ball 02. Or underscore 02. And then we're going to press Accept. So now this is saved, and you're always going to want to save often in Houdini. And so now our project is saved, and we are officially done with part 1. So the next video, part 2, is going to go into adding the soccer ball geometry. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.